In this particular video, I'm going to be covering my principle 4 of mental mastery. And the reason I put this particular principle in my course, and the reason why I'm so adamant on teaching this particular principle to my one-on-one clients as well, is because nearly every single trader that I've worked with has a fantasy about what the trading lifestyle is going to bring them. And unfortunately, I think most of the time, especially in this industry, there's a lot of sensationalism about, what trading can bring you in terms of money and lifestyle and all that type of stuff. And we get marketed just the positive facade of that. We only see one side of that. And as a result, it leads a lot of traders and investors seeking all positive fantasies in the future, putting these things way up on a pedestal and thinking that, they can have an unlimited amount of money and beach lifestyle and hotels and fancy cars and watches, this all positive lifestyle, and it's just not real. And what ends up happening is people compare their life to that fantasy, and then they beat themselves up and they're depressed in their current reality, and they're self-depreciating because they're comparing their life to a one-sided fantasy that isn't even real. It's just sensationalism to sell something. So what a way to start a video, right? Okay, so what I would love to make you aware of in this particular video is that you can have great goals, you can have nice things, you can have nice watches, nice cars, hotels, and beach trips and all that type of stuff if that's what you fancy, but there are going to be drawbacks and risks and disservices to doing that as well. You want to understand that you can't separate the inseparables, and every event has two sides to it. Being rich and driving a Lambo and having a nice watch and all those things that the marketing sells, if that's a goal of yours, great. There are going to be advantages to that, but there are also going to be disadvantages to that as well. One of the most common fantasies I see traders pursuing is going for funding. And they've got funding way up on a pedestal up here, and they're assuming that when they get funded, there's only going to be advantage, there's only going to be positive. Life's going to be better off than what it is right now. And what I would love to share is that there are drawbacks to getting funded. There are disservices to getting funded. There are risks, true risks associated with getting funded that a lot of people are unaware of. So in principle 4, the first thing I really help my guys do is go in there and crack the fantasies they're pursuing. A few things happen. When you go in there and you take the things you're putting up on a pedestal off the pedestal, you stop self-depreciating. You stop beating yourself up, and you clear a lot of depression that's happening in your life because you stop comparing yourself to a fantasy. And it gives you the ability to honor where you are in your journey and honor your lifestyle right now. It also helps you gain confidence in light of those goals. Because you have to understand that if you're self-depreciating to a goal you've put up on a pedestal, you're not going to feel worthy of getting that goal. You're not going to have confidence in achieving that. So the first thing I get my guys to do in principle 4 is to list the drawbacks and disservices and make them aware of the risks that are always there, but they're blinded to initially, of achieving those particular goals. So what are the drawbacks, disservices of getting funded or being a full-time trader? Make yourself aware of the real risks that are there that people are blinded to. There's a huge positive thinking myth going out in self-development right now, that you always have to be positive. You only have to be focused on the positives, which I think, in my opinion, is an incomplete model. I'm working with a client right now who's going for 10 million euro of investment. And we're going in there and we are identifying every single thing that could go wrong and putting contingencies in place. To me, that's a much wiser way to approach a goal like that. Because the risks are there, whether you're aware of them or not. In my opinion, it's much wiser to be aware of the things that could go wrong, put contingencies in place and deal with those things and with foresight plan, as opposed to pursuing a fantasy and then getting smacked by those risks in the future and then losing that funding or things happening that, end up you giving it back or losing a lot of money. So I think having a grounded, realistic perspective and making yourself aware of, yes, the advantages, but also the disadvantages and the risks, you take it off the pedestal, you gain confidence, you level yourself with the goal, you're aware of everything that can go wrong, and you've already put risk management and contingencies in place to deal with those particular things. So in principle 4, in my course in particular, I give you the tool to be able to go in there and to help you strategize and risk manage and put contingencies in place for every single one of your goals. You'll gain more confidence. The fear and anxiety that you have associated with any fantasies will disappear. Because if you're having a fear or anxiety of going for funding or a particular goal you've set, it's an indication you're pursuing a fantasy. The fears pop up in your brain as a feedback mechanism telling you you're pursuing a fantasy. So if you go in there and you crack the fantasy, you make yourself aware of the other side of that goal, the fears dissipate as well. You gain more confidence, you're level with the goal, you're more likely to achieve it. And then when you do achieve it, if those things do go wrong, you're already prepared for them. You just act. You don't have to react, you act, because you've got everything planned in place. And probably one of the more important points here as well is that it gives you an opportunity to be grateful and appreciative of where you are in the journey right now. Because I see a lot of people who are, trying to escape their current reality, and they're going for funding, or they're going full-time trading because they're trying to escape their reality. Not necessarily because they would love to go full-time or would love to be a funded trader, but they feel like they just have to do it because they're trying to avoid the pain of their reality. So going in there and cracking that fantasy and making yourself aware of the advantages in your life, like I teach in Principle 4, gives you a profound level of appreciation for yourself, for your life, and it makes you more likely to achieve your goals ultimately. And you get to achieve your goals while also enjoying the journey you're going through. To me, there's no better way to do it. So I hope this was insightful, a little bit of a different perspective on that, because I don't think you're going to hear that perspective very commonly in this industry. So I hope you appreciate that, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next video.